What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Love and Rice podcast with your host, Aunt Ma, and host, Christina Ma. And I really like how things are going on this podcast, and I hope you guys are too. So please share some love, send us some love, and comment down below. In this episode, we're going to be talking about the Asian religions and, having shrines in our homes and things like that. And I know for your family, you guys have a really big shrine in your living room and your parents take it very seriously.
Yes. So growing up, they had this huge shrine. It literally like takes up one side of the house, like on the wall. And
It looks like you're in a temple.
yeah, pretty much. And I think they have it there, because they don't go to the temple too often, but they just kind of like do everything there. And it's most likely because my grandpa, I don't know what they call him. I remember we talked about this before, but he used to go around to people's homes, and then he would have like his whole posse with him, and they would go to these homes that need to get blessed. Like he even did that for our first home.
Yeah.
And he basically would go around and light some incense. They'll do some chanting, and they would drink some water, right? Or whatever it was. And then I remember him spinning it around the house
All over the house. Yeah.
to bless it. And then they also had these like yellow papers where it would have some writing on it, and it's basically like just this long strip of paper, and then they would get it and like tape it on every doorway or entryway of the house, and all of that was to bless the house. If there was anything in the house that that we needed to get rid of, like it kind of like tells them like, oh, it's okay, leave whatever spirits and bad energy that was in there.
I would say those guys are like in between the Chinese monk, priest, pastor type of people.
Yeah, there's a term for it, but I just can't remember what it is. But yeah, that's what that was his line of work, and that's what he did.
Yeah.
So I feel like my parents had to have that shrine at home in order for like the holidays, Chinese New Year, Lunar New Year, the moon, like when the new moons would come, they would always come to our house. And they would always we would have all of our family come over. We would have to have like moon cake. There are certain things that you would have to make, certain foods. And these foods you would put in front of the shrine because you're presenting it to the gods, or to the gods that you're pretty much praying to. Whether it's like Buddha, there's a lady Buddha, there's all these different other gods. And I don't know specifically like if there's certain religions that pray to certain like gods, but I know for us we pray to like the lady Buddha.
Yeah, I mean, our family's more of Confucius.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think we're more of Taoists.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So, are you glad that we don't have that stuff in our house?
Yes, because I used to always talk to my parents about it, and they said that it's a lot of work. So I believe because my dad is the oldest of the family, and my grandpa was the one that was like, he was pretty much a Chinese monk, right? So I felt like he had the duty of having to have that shrine. So it's kind of something that he had to do automatically. And when I would talk to them about it, they say that it's very stressful because there's so many rules within the house. And you can't do a lot of things because of the shrine.
Yeah.
Like, for example, with us, right? Even though we're married, my parents are always kind of like nervous if we were to stay under the same roof because I'm the daughter of the house, and I don't know the meaning behind it, but it can bring bad luck if like we're under the same roof in the same bed and they're worried that we're going to do something like be physical in the bedroom. But the thing is that my brothers, because they carry the Chinese name, they can have their wives come into the home. They could sleep in the same bed, and like it's normal, like it's okay. So it's kind of weird. I don't know if they use religion as an excuse for it, or if they use it so that, they can keep their daughters from having guys coming over.
I don't know. I think every family believes what they want because it's just different in every village.
Yeah.
But what I do know is that, in our previous houses, we had that red canister with the holes in it. And that's where you burn, money or like fake money and other items
like clothes,
that go
jewelry.
to the other world.
Yeah.
And so I always told my mom, because that's the funnest part when you're a kid, is just burning all that stuff every Chinese New Year, right? And so I asked my mom, do I need to do that for our house? And so we did it for, I think, our first 2 homes.
Right.
And she was saying that if we do these things and we pray in the house and burn incense in the house, we have to be consistent and do it all the time.
Right. Yes,
know?
that's what my mom was saying too about
So
having the shrine.
Either you don't do it or you make it your life.
And you have to commit to it every single day.
So here in Vegas, we didn't do it, but we did like do it at the front door when we first bought the home, where we lit incense and prayed, and that was it. But we didn't do anything inside the house.
Yeah, our version of incense is kind of like other people who use like sage and stuff to clear the house of bad energy. And
that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what our culture does. You know, I even have a scar growing up from like those red tin cans because we're right there because we're putting stuff in, and then I remember when I was reaching over to put something in, and then one of my cousins like moved it and it touched the red can when it was like on fire, and it bubbled up. So that's something that I will live with forever. Yeah.
I think it gets crazy when you start burning those things. So if you've ever been to a Chinese funeral, they start burning some really big items.
Yeah, like cars, like houses.
So it'd be like cardboard shaped into a Bentley or a Rolls Royce, and you burn it and put it in there, and like that tells you that that person is going to have a Rolls Royce or a Bentley in the afterlife.
Yeah, and like, there's always a lot of gold and money too, right?
Yeah,
and you're burning food because you just want them to have like abundance when they're living up there. But I think like just thinking about all these religions and like traditions that we have, I feel like it's just like it also goes back to like your self-identity, and then kind of like having something to fall back into.
I would say I felt a little lost for a while because from middle school to high school, I actually went the other route. Like my parents had me join a family to go to church, a Christian church.
I'm surprised.
And probably because one, it was like their babysitter type of thing, right? Like, oh, send our son there and they don't got to watch their son.
Right.
But like, so I would go to church 3 times a week. I would go to summer camps. I would do basketball league. I was very heavily involved in Christianity.
Okay.
And to the point where I got a Bible, you know, the priest had to say, or the pastor had to say, you know, do you accept Christ? Yada, 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 right? But I never got baptized.
Okay.
Because I didn't know where I fell in all this. Because one day I'll go to church and the next day I'm burning incense.
Yeah.
You know?
I went through the same experience as you because my boyfriend at the time, his dad was actually a pastor.
Yeah.
So this was in high school, and I was going to churches. I was going to church every week. I would go to Bible study every Friday, attend service every Sunday. And I was very much into like Christianity, and I was learning all of these things. I even had like my own Bible and everything too. And I feel like in the beginning, my parents were very concerned about it. I don't think they liked the idea that I'm kind of like going into their house and I have these different beliefs of different gods, right? So I like that. My parents, they brought me up into Buddhism, but they let me explore different religions and kind of let me figure out what I wanted to do. And I definitely believe that there's more than one God.
Yeah, I believe in both.
I believe in all
Jesus
of them. Yeah.
And in all the Chinese gods.
Yeah. So I feel like with us, you know, we can introduce our kids to Buddhism, burning incense, praying to the shrine like we normally do now. And, you know, just like different customs that we have by taking them to the temples.
Yeah.
Right. And eventually, you know, when they're old enough to make their own decisions too, I would let them explore and figure out what they believe in, and I wouldn't just push one religion on them.
So what do you call ourselves? Are we more of like atheists?
Yes, definitely atheists.
But atheist is when you don't believe in any God.
No, agnostic. Oh, no, agnostic. We're agnostic.
Where we believe in multiple gods?
Yes. Yeah.
I never hear anybody use that term.
Yeah. I guess not. That's why when you said atheist, I was like, yes, that's it. But no, I always categorize myself as agnostic. But that's something that people don't really talk about that at all anymore.
Well, I mean, I just look at all the religions and everybody that follows their own gods from all over the world, right?
Yeah.
And they all believe in something. And if they believe in it, I feel like it's got to be there. So it's like,
for sure.
you know,
Yeah.
how can you not believe in all these types of gods?
Yeah, because I know there are certain religions where it's a sin, right? You have to only believe in one God and one God only, but I don't feel that way. I'm very open to like a higher power just all around, whether it's in the spiritual world or through God or through Buddha or whatever it is. So
Yeah, I just think our the Asian religion is just the most complicated because they always try to tie in bad luck and good luck with it and superstitions and like it's just weird, man.
yeah, well, I mean, I feel like maybe that's just with every culture, but we just don't know about it because that's not our culture and our religion.
I mean, I practiced being a Christian for like I don't know, pretty close to 10 years,
oh wow.
and so I never heard of any superstitious stuff. Just more of like, don't do this, don't do that. I actually think it's a good idea to just bring the kids to the temple and see all that stuff,
Yeah. I actually really enjoy going there because I feel like life gets so stressful sometimes, and that's kind of like our outlet. So whenever we are overwhelmed with stuff, we like to go to the temple because we feel like everything is so heavy. Our energy is heavy, our spirit's heavy. So when we go there, we go praying to the gods and we light incense and, we kind of make our round around the temple. And after we leave, like I feel so good, and I feel so light.
There's a lot of inspiration and motivation in it compared to the other cultures. So like when we go to the temple, there's one area that says, pray for good health, pray for wealth, pray for prosperity, pray for family.
Right.
And I love those things.
And those are all things that are super important to me.
Yeah.
They're all things that I value. So, I don't.
Like, so anytime we go there and we're praying to all these different areas, when I leave, I'm like, yes, now I feel motivated to do better.
Yeah. So tying back to that, I feel like it's really important to teach our kids all of these things because it kind of gives them it gives them a feeling of self-belonging. So like if they're stressed out or if they are overwhelmed with something and they don't know where to turn, at least they know like, hey, this is what mom and dad does. Like I can just go to the temple, I can pray and, feel better and know that things are going to be okay. So it gives them like some kind of purpose in life.
Yeah, that's a great idea. That's something that we actually do quite often when we go to LA. We just go to, different temples and we bring the kids with us. And I like that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Drop a comment down below on how you guys practice in your family too. And what other topics you want us to talk about. Make sure to follow us on YouTube and Spotify and all other podcast platforms. Thank you for tuning in to Love and Rice Podcast. And we'll catch you next time.